I knew that since I had been reborn, I would never let him feed the bastard. Su Kun, who was lying on the beach on the Yunlong coastline, thought extremely excitedly. Since the implementation of the base arrival policy, countless mainlanders dreaming of making a fortune have swam from Shatao Kok to Xiangjiang. However, among these people, Su Kun may be the only one who can't swim and has no hesitation. Either die or live wonderfully. With this firm thought, 17-year-old Su Kun came to this Xiangjiang, known as the Hollywood of the East, relying on the tractor inner tube he finally stole from the auto parts factory. Actually, it's no wonder Su Kun worked so hard. In 1977, the mainland was too unsuitable for him, who had been in the film and television industry for most of his life. That's why Su Kun risked his life to come to Xiangjiang, to this place where he could realize his dream of 2 lifetimes. Swimming to the Yunlong coastline does not mean that it is safe. The arrival policy implemented by the British Hong Kong government expressly stipulates that if mainland illegal immigrants can reach the urban area after smuggling to Hong Kong and come into contact with their relatives in Hong Kong, they can enter Hong Kong residency. If the stowaways are intercepted by law enforcement officers at the border, they will be sent back to the mainland. So, despite being very, very tired, Su Kun got up and cautiously walked towards the depths of Yunlong. At this time, many parts of Yunlong had not yet been developed, and farmland and vegetable fields could be seen everywhere, which was completely different from decades later. After walking for an unknown distance, Su Kun found a road that was not wide when the sky started to light up. Then, Su Kun jumped into the middle of the road and intercepted a truck. The truck driver was a woman in her 30s. Seeing that Su Kun was dressed like a beggar and had water stains on his body, he asked Su Kun, "Are you from the mainland who swam over from the opposite side? Eldest sister, can you take me to the city in a convenient way?" Su Kun said with a silly smile. Seeing that Su Kun was just a simple and honest half-year-old boy, the female driver said, "Come up." "Thank you, eldest sister." Su Kun quickly thanked him, then opened the co-pilot's door and got into the van. Su Kun, who has lived in 2 generations, has long learned how to win the sympathy of women. Therefore, after Su Kun showed helplessness and confusion about the future, Mrs. Li, a female driver who only planned to take Su Kun for a while, suddenly decided to rent the idle attic to Su Kun, and also allowed Su Kun to owe 2 months' rent and food for 2 months. Su Kun is a man who will do anything to achieve his goals, but he is also a man of gratitude. For Su Kun, Mrs. Li's decision was like giving help in the snow. Therefore, Su Kun secretly swore that when he became prosperous, he would repay Sister Li. Sister Li has a son and a daughter, a 7-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. Mrs. Li's husband is called Li Zhu, who suffers from meningitis and deafness. His hearing is only 20% to 30%, and his eyesight is poor. He does odd jobs in the gym, and the whole family relies on Mrs. Li as a truck driver to make a living. This may be one of the reasons why Sister Li rented the attic to Su Kun. The attic is about 40 feet, that is, more than 4 square feet. There is no bed, no window, and no furnishings. There is only an old mat and a quilt that is 1 finger thick. Such a humble living environment reminded Su Kun of the movie Cage People starring Huang Jiazhu, and exclaimed, "Everything is difficult at the beginning." After taking a shower, he changed into the old clothes that Li Zhu had found for Su Kun, and had a meal with the Li family. Then, the exhausted Su Kun gritted his teeth and helped Li Auntie clean up the dishes before returning. "I slept in my attic." The next morning, Li Zhu, who happened to be fine, accompanied Su Kun to the household registration department to apply for an ID card, which completely solved Su Kun's worries. On the way, Li Zhu chatted with Su Kun, "Kunzi, what are your plans in the future?" "I want to go to the studio to find a job." Su Kun replied. "Why, do you want to be a big star?" Li Zhu asked with a smile. "I spent 2 months on the set in the mainland, and I really liked it. As for whether I can be a big star or not, it doesn't matter. Su Kun replied with a smile. Li Zhu did not continue this topic, and asked about the current situation in the mainland. Passing by a grocery store, Su Kun and Li Zhu borrowed 5 yuan to buy paper, pens and a dictionary. Back in the attic, Su Kun picked up the pen and wrote the words Mischievous Journey. The Misty Journey builds a complete and huge world of immortals, and is different from the immortal world of historical myths. This world is vivid and has the breath of modern people, and introduces more impactful and modern concepts such as the universe. Novelty is an important selling point of this novel. From this novel, readers know many things and concepts such as yin and yang, transcending tribulation, magic weapons, realms, and immortals. The settings related to self-cultivation are blooming everywhere: the world of self-cultivation, spiritual stones, magic weapons, spells, Buddhist sects, sound attack, black magic world, scattered immortals, heavenly tribulations, spirit and ghost worlds, fairy implements, demons, ancient gods. When the novel was updated, tens of thousands of people were waiting online, and it was rumored that the server was crowded. Now, Su Kun can only say to Xiao Qian, who is still a Barious doll, "I'm sorry, your masterpiece came out more than 20 years in advance." Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. The traditional characters caused Su Kun a lot of trouble. If it wasn't for the unusually clear mind of Su Kun after his rebirth, he really couldn't have written 50,000 characters in just 4 days. On the morning of the 5th day, Su Kun, who had eaten, first helped Mrs. Li clean up the dishes, then simply put on makeup to make herself look more mature, and then said hello to Li Zhu and his wife with a 50,000 character word. The ethereal journey came to the headquarters of Ming Pao. Ming Pao is one of the most influential newspapers in Hong Kong. One of its founders is the well-known literary hero, Mr. Jin Lan. Many of Mr. Jin's martial arts novels were published in Ming Pao. Su Kun came to Ming Pao's headquarters to make Journey to Misty serialized in Ming Pao. A long time ago, De Fei wanted to write an entertainment novel that started in Xiangjiang, write about the development history of entertainment, trace back the classics that have just passed, and pay tribute to some entertainers who have filled the bricks and tiles for the history of entertainment. Of course, this is more of personal sex, especially for some female entertainers. However, De Fei will try to respect history and facts as much as possible. Finally, I recklessly went back to the original intention of writing this passage. Whether a new book can develop depends not only on the author's own efforts, but also on the reader's help. So, please collect, recommend, package, support, and ask for everything that can help this new book grow. P.S. It's not that De Fei is really shameless, but the competition on this site is too fierce. So, please help De Fei to help De Fei. Yu Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in Yu Reading. Mobile users, please read. It's interesting, you can ask for a price. After reading the 50,000 word Journey to Misty, the editor-in-chief of Ming Pao, Pan Sheng, suppressed his shock to the novel Journey to Misty. 1,000 words and 500. Su Kun quoted directly. What? Mr. Su, are you sure you're not joking? Pan Sheng said with wide-eyed eyes. Isn't Ni Hans Wesley 1,000 words and 500? Does Mr. Pan feel that the Misty Journey is inferior to Wesley? Su Kun looked at Pan Sheng and asked. Excuse me, Mr. Su, you are just a newcomer, while Mr. Ni Kuang is a long-established senior in the literary world. In addition, Mr. Ni Kuang's remuneration is not enough. 6 months ago, Huang Yulang launched a new magazine and borrowed money from it. He wanted to make a lot of money by paying Mr. Ni Kuang's super high manuscript fee to make a lot of money for Wesley, so as to make his magazine popular, so he gave Mr. Ni Kuang a price of 500 per 1,000 words. The manuscript fee for Ming Pao is only 1,000 words and 180. Pan Sheng said while suppressing his displeasure. Su Kun really didn't know what Pan Aya Sheng said. He just inquired from Li Zhu's house that Ni Han's manuscript fee was 1,000 words and 500, so he quoted the price. Hearing what Pan Aya Sheng said, Su Kun also felt that the price he quoted was a bit outrageous. However, the sophistication he did not show. After a pause, Pan Aya Sheng continued, under normal circumstances, 500 per thousand words is the price of a famous expert in expert orchid. For example, Ms. Yusher writes a film review, which is probably the price. However, if Ms. Yusher writes a novel, she needs to the designation for publishing in Mingpao is not so high, the maximum is 200,000 words. So, Mr. Su, if you really want to publish your mischievous journey in Mingpao, I can only give you 50,000 words at most. S price. 50,000 words. Su Kun repeated with a frown. This price is too far from what Su Kun expected. He didn't expect Pan Aya Sheng to bargain, but he didn't expect Pan Aya Sheng to push the price so low. Mr. Su, the price of 50,000 words is not low. The average newcomer can write high-quality articles for only 1,000 words and 30. I personally like your mischievous journey, so I gave you 5,000 words. The price of 10. Pan Aya Sheng persuaded Su Kun. Next, after some haggling, the two tentatively set the price to 1,000 characters and 80. However, Su Kun did not agree on the spot, only said that he would go back and think about it. Pan Aya Sheng personally sent Su Kun out of the Mingpao building, and then urged Su Kun to give him an answer as soon as possible, and then waved goodbye to Su Kun. Su Kun, who left the Mingpao building, went straight to the headquarters of the Oriental Daily. Su Kun would not make a final decision without shopping around. On the way, Su Kun bought a copy of Mingpao, a copy of Mingpao Evening News, a copy of Oriental Daily, and a copy of Tsingtao Daily with the change left over from buying pens and dictionaries yesterday. After simply looking at the four newspapers, Su Kun became more confident about the trip to the headquarters of the Oriental Daily. Su Jixin is a little younger than Pan Aya Sheng, and the shock to him is greater than that of Pan Aya Sheng. After reading The Misty Journey twice, Su Jixin put down The Misty Journey and said, "Mr. Su, your The Misty Journey really opened my eyes. If you are willing to publish it in our Oriental Daily Mischievous Journey, I will give you the price of 50,000 words. Let's be honest, Mr. Su, I just came out from Mingpao. I am not satisfied with the price given by Mr. Pan, so I came to see you. If you can only give this price, then I can only go again." Tsingtao Daily read it. Su Kun said. Su Kun's words made Su Jixin's heart sink. He knew that it would cost a lot of money to keep Mischievous Journey today. Immediately, Su Jixin asked Su Kun calmly, "Mr. Su, can I ask, what is the price Lao Pan gave you?" Su Kun is not a youngster who has never seen the world, so how could he tell Su Jixin the details? He said slowly, "The price I quoted to Mr. Pan is 500,000 words. That, I'll tell the truth, don't mind Mr. Su, given your reputation, this price is too outrageous. Mr. Ni Hang's royalties half a year ago can't be used as an industry mark, so." Su Jixin said stunned. "I bought a few newspapers on the way here and saw that Ni Jiao's novel was published in Mingpao and Wen Ruyan's novel was published in Mingpao Evening News. Published, the prospect of Oriental Daily is a bit worrying." Su Kun said with a smile. "Mr. Su, you are quite confident in your mischievous journey." Su Jixin said angrily. "To be favored by both Mr. Pan and you at the same time, the Journey of Misty should be regarded as a good novel. Maybe it can change the current pattern of Mingpao, Tsingtao Daily and Oriental Daily. I heard that the reason why Mingpao has its current status is all thanks to Mr. Cha's martial arts novels." Su Kun said confidently. "You reading www.yuyuganshu.com." Su Jixin was silent for a while, and then read The Journey of Misty, and then said to Su Kun, "Mr. Su, please wait a moment, I will discuss with Mr. Ma." Mr. Ma is Ma Chinkan, the general manager of Oriental Daily. He is only 21 years old this year. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible for such a young Ma Chinkin to be the general manager of Oriental Daily. But there was no way. Ma Chinkin's father Ma Ziru and uncle Ma Zichen were accused of smuggling opium into Hong Kong and offering bribes one after another this year, and both fled back to Taiwan. Therefore, the Oriental Daily can only be resisted by Ma Chinkin, the leader of the younger generation of the Ma family. Ma Ziru and Ma Xianzhen founded the Oriental Daily and developed the Oriental Daily into one of the most influential newspapers in Hong Kong. At the same time, they fled to Taiwan and hit the Oriental Daily greatly. It is conceivable that in just a few months, the sales of Oriental Daily have been reduced by half. If things go on like this, it won't be long before the Oriental Daily has to close its doors. Therefore, when Ma Chinkin was deeply attracted by the novelty of Journey of Misty, he immediately decided, give him 300,000 words. I, Ma Chinkin, want to let the people of Hong Kong know that it is not only Topaz who is willing to buy bones with thousands of dollars. A wolf. When Su Kun returned to Li's house with 2 Biko chickens in his hand with the contract of 15,000 Hong Kong dollars and Journey to the Misty, Li Zhu brought another good news to Su Kun, Kunze, my brother from my family. Li Wo worked as a prop in the production crew of Dream of Red Mansions, and he promised to let you go to the props team of Dream of Red Mansions. UU Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in UU Reading. Mobile users, please read. To this day, Chu Kun did not know that the Li Zhu family is a movie family. His father is the father of movies Li Yiwei, his mother is the first-generation movie star of Hong Kong, Lin Chuchu, his sisters are famous actors Li Loxuan and Li Zhozhou, and his brother is Li Jian, a famous Chinese child star in the 1930s, has his elder sister Shen Chonghuan, the former Secretary General of the Presidential Office of the Republic of China. Later, when the older generation passed away, he also suffered from meningitis, deafness, amblyopia, and he was at odds with his older brother and sister. So, the family gradually fell down, until now he is doing chores in the gym, and Li's wife drives a truck to support the family. However, the skinny camel is bigger than the horse. After all, the Li family is a movie family, so Li Zia still knows some people in the film and television industry. Li Wo, the props master of Dream of Red Mansions, is Li's cousin. And the lucky Su Kun, because of Li Zhu's relationship, joined the cast of Dream of Red Mansions on the 7th day he came to Hong Kong. Li Wo is a thin middle-aged man in his 40s. He has worked as a prop artist for more than 20 years. He is also somewhat famous in the film and television industry. After meeting, Li Wo first exchanged a few words with Li Zhu, then looked at Su Kun up and down, and asked Su Kun, "How old are you?" 20. Su Kun replied respectfully. Su Kun's respect made Li Wo feel a little good, and he asked Su Kun, "Have you ever practiced martial arts?" "I practiced Bajikwan for a period of time in my early years." Su Kun replied respectfully. Li Wo said with a little surprise, "Oh? You also practiced Bajikwan?" Then he said with a little interest, "He played it again and let me see." Su Kun was also unequivocal, and immediately played a set of Bajikwan in a decent manner. When Su Kun closed his fists, Li Wo nodded lightly and said, "It's all right, the boxing style is good, but the heat is a little bit worse, practice hard, I will introduce you to be a dragon tiger martial artist when I have a chance. Now, you can let's do errands in the props team first, 18 yuan a day, okay?" After his rebirth, Su Kun took out 2 hours to practice martial arts almost every day, but he did not practice Bajikwan, but the Fang Zongshu in the Emperor's foreign classics. Fang Zongshu was a tomb robber friend of Su Kun's previous life in a large tomb. Brought out. In the last life, Su Kun didn't get the intramural technique until 50, but even so, Su Kun also benefited a lot from the intramural technique. In this life, Su Kun certainly can't miss this amazing feat. And Su Kun's ambition is not martial arts. Therefore, his Bajiquan is destined to never be able to improve. Su Kun, who has been in the film and television industry for 20 to 30 years, definitely has the ability to make movies, but he lacks an indispensable condition for making movies: personal connections. After all, no matter how powerful Su Kun is, he is only one person, and a movie can never be completed by only one person. Therefore, as soon as he entered the crew, Su Kun began to deliberately make friends with talents he could use. Pity. Su Kun's status is so low that he can only get in touch with some dragon sets, dragon and tiger martial artists, and some unknown young actors. As for those talents he can use, even if he spends money, he will not be able to make friends. Su Kun knew very well that if he wanted to get in touch with those talents, he had to climb up. People often say that opportunities are always reserved for those who are prepared. But Su Kun believes even more: opportunities are created by oneself. Zhao Bao, the photography assistant of the photography team, is the apprentice of photographer Lin Chao. He has studied photography with Lin Chao for 7 years, and is considered a good photographer. On the 12th day of Su Kun's entry into the crew, Lin Chao temporarily asked director Li Hangxiang for a half-day leave to let Zhao Bao support the machine. Hearing this news, Su Kun secretly said, "The opportunity I have to wait for is here." When the lunch box was distributed at noon, Su Kun poured the croton juice he had prepared for many days into Zhao Bao's lunchbox. Before the machine was turned on, Zhao Bao was unable to walk. Coincidentally, in the afternoon, I caught up with the 3 protagonists, Lin Qingxia, Zhang Yijia, and Mi Su. From this, we can see how angry Li Hangxiang is. Just as Li Hangxiang was about to take control of the camera himself, Su Kun approached Li Hangxiang and said, "Uncle Xiang, I have studied photography for a while, or would you let me try it?" "You?" Li Hangxiang glanced at Su Kun and recognized that Su Kun was just a handyman for the crew. Then Li Hangxiang wanted to drive away Su Kun, the ignorant boy. However, thinking of the current situation, Li Hangxiang hesitated again. After a while, he said to Su Kun, "Sit down and try." Hearing this, Su Kun immediately sat behind the camera, turned it on and focused, and said to Li Hangxiang, "Uncle Xiang, I'm fine." A layman watches the excitement, an expert watches the doorway. Li Hangxiang, who has been a director for decades, knows Su Kunxing when he sees Su Kun's movements, and when he looks at Su Kun's motionless hands, he knows that Su Kun's photography skills are not far behind. The next shooting proved Li Hangxiang's vision. Su Kun's photography level was no longer inferior to Lin Chao's, and the transformation of several shots made Li Hangxiang's eyes shine. After only half a day of filming, Li Hangxiang remembered the daring Su Kun. The next day, Su Kun worked as a photography assistant for Zhao Bao, whose legs were still weak, and then took the initiative to work as a handyman. Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com. After that, Su Kun worked tirelessly in the props team, as if that half-day photography never happened. A few days later, Marvin, the field recorder, tripped over a wire and rolled down a Tumaturai rockery when he was facing the Jing, breaking his right arm. Su Kun, who saw this scene from a distance, said apologetically, "I'm sorry, brother, I can't let you stand in my way." The scene record plays a very important role in film and television dramas. He not only plays the board, but also has to check and record the scene number, mirror number, shooting content, shooting method, shot length, actors' dialogue, clothing, and props to ensure that the number of divided the scenes and numerous shots were shot smoothly, providing data and materials for post-editing, dubbing, and printing. In addition, it is necessary to record the director's requirements for the picture, such as how to split the mirror, scenes, etc., and details, such as what clothes the actors wear in this scene, what shoes need to be linked with which scene, etc. Wait. All in all, the record is very important, and not everyone can do it. At least, the field recorder must understand photography and the language of the lens. It is no exaggeration to say that a good scene can act as an assistant director or even a director. Ma Wen's sudden injury gave Li Hangxiang a headache for a while. Ma Wen has been with him for a few years, and he knows his creative philosophy very well. After leaving Ma Wen, he really didn't know where to find a good record. Suddenly, Li Hangxiang remembered Su Kun, who had good photography skills. As a result, Su Kun was ordered to become a temporary record of the crew of Dream of Red Mansions. UU Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in UU Reading. Mobile users, please read. Blind man, get a copy of the Oriental Daily. It's sold out. How about Ming Pao and Ming Pao Evening News? Ming Pao and Ming Pao Evening News have Mischievous Journey. No, but Ming Pao has the latest Wesleyan, and Ming Pao Evening News has the latest Shenzhou Kixia. Damn! Blind man, are you playing me with TMD? Can Wesley and Shenzhou Kixia be compared to Mischievous Journey? Boss, this is 5 yuan. Please save the Oriental Daily for the past few days for me. Okay, I'll register it for you. What's your name? Boss, keep one for me too. It's 5 yuan. It's the same for you, you can come and pick it up at any time, may I ask? And me, I also ordered one, here, 5 yuan. Please wait a moment, I will register these two first, and then register you. Danu, show me your newspaper. I'll see what happened to Fu Shan and Hua Meiniang, and where did Li Qiang go? Wait a minute, I haven't finished it yet. Why are you so slow? I've been waiting for more than half an hour, and you haven't finished it yet. Can't I watch it a second time? I said, Daniel, you're too slutty. When you borrowed a newspaper from me yesterday, I wasn't as aggressive as you. Give it to you. Here it is. Wait a little longer and you can die. Grass. I'm going to subscribe to the monthly magazine of the Oriental Daily, I won't be mad at you anymore. In the office of the General Manager of Oriental Daily. Uncle Su, are the 100,000 newspapers sold out today? Ma Chinkin confirmed to Su Jixin in disbelief. Really? Now, the popularity of Mischievous Journey is unimaginable. I suggest that we print 20,000 copies tomorrow, at least 10,000 copies. Su Jixin suggested with a happy face. No wonder Ma Chinkin and Su Jixin are so excited since Ma Chinkin took over the Oriental Daily, the daily sales of 160,000 has dropped to more than 80,000, almost halved. You can imagine the great pressure on him and Su Jixin. Today, Oriental Daily has suddenly increased its sales volume by 20,000 days. How can they not be excited? Well, I'll print 10,000 copies first to see the situation, and it's not bad for a day or two. By the way, Uncle Su, go and urge Su Kun in person, don't let him break it, it's better to let him write it first. Put out 300,000 to 500,000 words and put them in our newspaper. Ma Chinkin said while suppressing the excitement in his heart. I'll find him in a while. This kid. No wonder he's so arrogant. Su Jixin said with a smile. When the journey of Misty caused a great uproar in Xiangjiang, Su Kun was busy removing the word temporary in front of his temporary record. With Su Kun in the entertainment industry for decades, it is more than enough to be a small memorandum, but he is a newcomer after all, and merchandising is a position that requires the cooperation of many parties, so he still needs to be a mere memorizer. Do a lot of homework. Like this moment. Lin Qingxia, who received Qin Xianglin's love letter, went offline again and became extremely irritable. She had no intention of doing anything with her. Su Kun patiently told her the script 4 times, but she still didn't listen to a word. Fortunately, Su Kun came to look for Lin Qingxia a lot of time in advance, otherwise he might have to be laid off today as a temporary clerk. Lin Qingxia was born in Sankong District, Taiwan, New Taipei, China. Her ancestral home is Luiyang, Shandong. She was discovered by a scout to play the heroine Zhang Yanrong in her debut film Outside the Window, and she became famous in one fell swoop. While becoming famous, Lin Qingxia also got into trouble. She fell in love with Qin Kan, the hero of Out the Window, to be more precise, the two should be considered to be in love with each other. However, the sad thing is that Qin Kan has a wife. After the scandal between the two came out, there was an uproar in this relatively conservative society. Qin Han's wife Xiao Qiaoan even called and scolded Brigitte Lin for destroying the family. Brigitte Lin kept silent on the other end of the phone. Finally, she sighed and said, "Okay, okay, I promise not to destroy your happiness." He asked me out, and I don't see him either. And at this moment, Qin Xianglin appeared in Lin Qingxia's life. Qin Xianglin became famous early, and his redness spread through half of the sky. Qin Xianglin, nicknamed Charlie with the Heart, is sunny, tall, handsome, and suave. When Lin Qingxia was still a student, Qin Xianglin was already a popular idol. When an idol comes to her side, which girl can restrain her inner excitement, turbulence, and fantasies? But reality soon gave Lin Qingxia another heavy blow. Qin Kan is an envoy to have a wife, and Qin Xianglin, although unmarried, has a lover, the first sister of the Hong Kong film industry Xiao Fang Fang. Xiao Fang Fang comes from a prestigious family, is versatile, and has made extraordinary achievements in the entertainment industry. In contrast, Lin Qingxia, the thin younger sister who had just emerged, was naturally insignificant in Qin Xianglin's heart. What made Lin Qingxia even more sad was that soon after, she became friends with Deng Lijun. Com and Qin Xianglin also fell in love at first sight with the Empress Jade Girl, and played a triangle game between Xiao Fang Fang and Deng Lijun. Now, Qin Kan is being watched strictly by his wife, and he is willing to hook up with Lin Qingxia, but he does not dare to rebel against his wife. The unreliable Qin Xianglin is at ease with Lin Qingxia. The complicated relationship between the three made Lin Qingxia, who had not yet been deeply involved in the world, so painful that she had no intention of working at all. Lin Qingxia's beauty and prestige, no doubt, have long been deeply imprinted in the hearts of this generation. Jin Nan said, "The beauty of Qingxia is unmatched." Su Ke was amazed, "A first-class beauty requires a little masculinity. A beauty like Lin Qingxia will only be born in 50 years. Zhou Runfa said, "When I was a working man, I had a secret crush on Qingxia on the screen." Zhou Xingqi said, "When Qingxia wears women's clothes, the most beautiful woman in my eyes. When Qingxia wears men's clothes, the most beautiful man. The actress I admire the most is her." Zhang Quarong said, "He has never had plastic surgery in the circle, he knows Qingxia. She is truly natural, from head to toe, like a fake." Famous writers have also praised her beauty. Lin Qingxia's beauty is not only between the facial features, but also the temples, ear beads, eyebrows, fingers, and even toes are flawless. A woman is beautiful like that, but she doesn't know how cute she is. Recently, Su Kun, who was dedicated to fighting for his career, was originally focused, but he told Lin Qingxia a lot of jokes at close range to coax Lin Qingxia into obediently starting work. Su Kun was suddenly moved by the pure and beautiful Lin Qingxia. The mind to win the love of Shuangqin. Yu Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in Yu Reading. Mobile users, please read. A man came to work with red and swollen eyes, and a colleague asked, "What's the matter?" The man said, "I was walking on the street yesterday, and a beautiful woman's skirt was blown up by the wind. I kindly helped her pull it down, but she actually punched me in the left eye." The colleague asked again, "What about the right eye?" The man said, "I thought she didn't like pulling the skirt down, so I helped her lift it up again." Su Kun preached vividly. After hearing this joke, Lin Qingxia, Zhang Ijia, Mi Shui, and Deborah were immediately amused and turned back and forth. The tricks, handymen, and extras who saw this scene all secretly scolded Su Kun for leaving the dog. Shit luck, in just 20 days, he went from the lowest handyman on the set to the main creative staff of the crew, and also with those who only the big stars you can look up to have become one. Just when Su Kun was about to tell a joke about entertainment to the girls, the assistant director Xiaozui shouted, "Work has started." Hearing the words, Su Kun immediately said, "Several beauties, I'll tell you a joke next time, I have to start work." After speaking, Su Kun went to Li Hangxiang with the scene board, the scene sheet, and the script. Zhang Ijia looked at Su Kun, who nodded and bowed beside Li Hangxiang, and said with a smile, "Humorous, good at being a man, and capable, this kid will be able to stand out sooner or later." "Why, our talented girl decided to give up Mr. Lu and invest in this original stock instead?" Deborah teased Zhang Ijia. "I do have this in mind, but unfortunately, Luo Hua is intentional and Lu Shui is ruthless. Don't you realize that this kid's eyes are always on our Kingxia?" Zhang Ijia said, looking at Lin Kingxia. "Don't mention it, I also discovered that Su Kun always likes to see Kingxia." Mi Su answered. Hey, why are you talking about me? Aren't you trying to match Ijia and Su Kun?" Lin Kingxia laughed. "The key is that Su Kun isn't interested in Ijia, but in you. Anyway, Qin Han and Qin Xianglin are both unreliable bastards. You might as well not want both and choose Su Kun." Dibo said bluntly. As soon as Dibo La's voice fell, the originally hilarious atmosphere immediately turned cold, and Lin Kingxia showed a bit of bitterness. Seeing this, Zhang Ijia hurriedly changed the subject and said, "Have you read the newspaper recently? A novel called Journey to Misty is very popular right now. I read that novel a little bit, but I didn't understand it. What kind of immortals, demons, magic weapons, it doesn't make any sense at all." Mi Su replied. Dibola also knew that she had said something wrong, so she quickly helped Zhang Ijia to change the subject and said, "We women don't like to watch it, it doesn't mean that those stinky men don't like it either, Brother Xian and his friends don't like it fall. The day before yesterday, in order to grab the newspaper, Brother Xian and Brother Zhang almost got into a fight. It's not the most important thing whether Journey of Misty is good or not. The most important thing is that the author of Journey of Misty is called Su Kun." Zhang Ijia glanced at Su Kun in the distance and said meaningfully, "Ijia, are you saying that he wrote Journey to the Misty?" Mi Su also turned to Su Kun and asked Zhang Ijia. "I don't know. However, there shouldn't be too many people named Su Kun." Zhang Ijia replied. "It was said in the newspaper that Journey to Misty is 300,000 words. If he really wrote it, he would be richer than the rest of us, and would come to the studio as a handyman." Mi Su shook his head slightly and said, "Could it be the same name?" Deborah said. Mi Shui and Dibo La's guess was exactly what Lin Kingxia thought. She didn't think a big writer would come to the set as a handyman, so she also thought that the two should have the same name. As the contact deepened, Li Hangxiang became more and more satisfied with Su Kun's record. Su Kun always completed the work he explained just right, which saved him a lot of effort as a director. Moreover, although Su Kun has a lot of ideas, Su Kun never insists on his own ideas. He always takes Li Hangxiang's ideas as the core, and can always help him pick up and fill in the omissions without a trace. Su Kun's performance even made Li Hangxiang think of taking Su Kun as his apprentice. However, Li Hangxiang did not reveal this idea, and he still wanted to investigate Su Kun for a while. In this era, A Dream of Red Mansions can be regarded as a well-made boutique movie. However, despite this, it was completed in less than 3 months. At the finale banquet, most of the people in the crew drank too much. Su Kun didn't like drinking, so he only toasted Li Hangxiang with a glass of wine, and took the opportunity to go to the toilet to replace all his wine with boiled water. The banquet was only halfway through, and Lin Kingxia, who was full of worries, drank too much. Then she yelled to go back to sleep. The whole crew knew about the affair between Lin Kingxia and Zhuang Qin, and everyone sympathized with the beautiful, lovely, and pitiful Lin Kingxia. Therefore, Lin Kingxia was going to go back to sleep, and no one said anything to stop it. Su Kun has always been good at seizing opportunities. Seeing this, he immediately took the initiative to ask Ying to send Lin Qingxia back. Su Kun's actions aroused boos from Zhang Ijia, Mi Su, and Dibola. Then, the others started booing along. Even so, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Su Kun shamelessly accompanied Lin Qingxia away from the banquet scene. At this time, Lin Qingxia was already quite famous. Therefore, the accommodation arranged for her by the crew is the famous Peninsula Hotel. Although Lin Qingxia drank too much, she was still far from getting drunk. From the time she came out of the banquet to the time she returned to her residence at the Peninsula Hotel, she always walked in front alone, while Su Kun was more like her valet, always following her not far behind. Drunk Lin Qingxia has a different kind of beauty. The bright red cheeks make her look indescribably cute. Such Lin Qingxia is very attractive to Su Kun. Therefore, when the two came to Lin Qingxia's residence and Lin Qingxia politely invited Su Kun to sit in, Su Kun took advantage of the situation and entered Lin Qingxia's room. Su Kun's shameless behavior made Lin Qingxia frown slightly. In Lin Qingxia's opinion, no gentleman would enter a woman's room in the middle of the night. At this moment, Lin Qingxia had a trace of disgust towards Su Kun from the bottom of her heart. However, even though Lin Qingxia had begun to hate Su Kun, her good tutoring still prevented her from expressing her true thoughts. Next, Lin Qingxia began to perfunctory Su Kun, chatting with Su Kun without saying a word, and at the same time, she kept praying in her heart that Su Kun could take the initiative to leave as soon as possible. Su Kun, who has rich life experience, has long noticed Lin Qingxia's attitude. He secretly said in his heart, "It seems that if I want to rescue the poor Qingxia from Shuangqin, I can only use extraordinary means." Then, a packet of medicinal powder quietly appeared in Su Kun's hands. Yu Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in Yu Reading. Mobile users, please read. Looking at the bloodstains on the bed and smelling the fragrance left by the beauties, Su Kun muttered to himself, "Qingxia, don't blame me. You and Shuangqin have been entangled for nearly 20 years in the last life, and you also know them in this life. It's been 4 or 5 years. Your heart has already been divided up by them. If I don't get your people first, how can I you from them?" In the cafe opposite the Peninsula Hotel. While feeling the pain in her lower body, Lin Qingxia dazedly stirred the latte in front of her. "Last night, how could I chat with him? Even after drinking, this shouldn't be something I can do. Yay. What the happened to me? I shouldn't have a good impression of him. What I like is the kind of refined, mature, and personable man. He is only 20 years old and 3 years younger than me. I don't like him at all. The type of... God! How could I have been crazy with him all night?" After an unknown amount of time, Lin Qingxia suddenly saw Su Kun walking out of the Peninsula Hotel with a sheet in between. Seeing this scene, Lin Qingxia's pretty face suddenly became extremely hot, and she scolded in a low voice, "How did he take the sheets away? Thing!" But the woman's shame made Lin Qingxia stop in front of the cafe. Then, she watched as Su Kun got into a taxi. Li family. Li Zhu took the roast goose handed over by Su Kun and said, "Kunze, Mr. Su came over yesterday afternoon to urge the draft. Since the production team has already finished, why don't you take advantage of this time to write more? I've written more than 300,000 words, and I'll go to the Oriental Daily to submit the manuscript after dinner." Su Kun said with a smile. After hearing Su Kun say that he had written more than 300,000 words, Li Zhu's worried heart returned to his stomach. Immediately afterwards, Li Zhu thought again. After receiving the 300,000 word manuscript fee, Kunze should have moved out of our house, right? To be honest, Li Zhu was really reluctant to move Su Kun away in the past 2 months. Su Kun bought a lot of good things for their family, including the hearing aids and glasses that Li Zhu is currently wearing, a 14-inch TV and a sewing machine, 2 children's clothes. If possible, Li Zihen hoped that Su Kun could stay at their house forever. It's a pity that this temple of the Li family is really too small. During dinner, Su Kun put goose legs on Li Ji's daughter Lizzie and said, "Brother Li, look, can you help me find another crew? I'm all a photographer, a camera assistant, a screenwriter and an assistant director. If you can't get into the main creative team, you can become a handyman. Isn't it bad to be a great writer? Kunze, with your strength, writing novels is enough to make you stand out. There is no need to go to the studio to see other people's faces." Li Zhu said bitterly. "I like to make movies. I write novels to make money. When I earn enough money to make movies, I may not write novels." Su Kun said with a smile. Li Zhu didn't say anything, but he didn't think much of Su Kun's desire to go. If he wanted to come, he could make a lot of money stably, so why bother? After more than 10 days of writing Journey to Misty at home, Li Zhu asked someone to help Su Kun find an assistant director for the crew of Fan Qian Han. However, Li Zichuo's position is not high. Therefore, director Wu Yusen had to interview Su Kun first, and then decide whether to use Su Kun or not. When Wu Yusen was young, he was very energetic and aura. When Su Kun saw him, he was immersed in changing the script. The middleman, Lao Sun, brought Su to Wu Yusen and reminded Wu Yusen softly, before Wu Yusen put down his pen and said, "Old Sun, go out first, I'll talk to Mr. Su alone." When Lao Sun heard this, he quickly said, "Okay. You are busy. You are busy." Then he turned and left. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. When Lao Sun walked out of the room, Wu Yusen looked at Su Kun, who was sitting opposite him, and asked, "Old Sun said, are you the author of Journey to Misty?" "Well, yes." Su Kun replied. "Excuse me to be blunt, with the popularity of Journey of the Misty, you shouldn't be short of money, right?" Wu Yusen asked again. "Well, I'm not short of money." Su Kun replied with a smile. "Then why do you still come to me to apply for an assistant director for less than 100 yuan a day?" Wu Yusen asked in confusion. "I like movies, so I want to come to Director Wu to learn from you and lay the foundation for my own movie making in the future." Su Kun replied with a slight compliment. Wu Yusen was startled by Su Kun's answer, and after a long while he asked again, "Mr. Su, have you ever been in film?" "When I was in the mainland, I stayed on the set for a few months. Some time ago, I worked as a cinematographer for the crew of Uncle Han Xiang's Dream of Red Mansions and also worked as a photographer for a long time." Su Kun replied. After listening to Su Kun's answer, Wu Yusen was silent for a while, then got up and stretched out his hand and said, "With your experience, Mr. Su, it shouldn't be a problem to be an assistant director. On behalf of the crew of Fa Qian Han, I welcome you to join us." Su Kun stretched out his hand and shook Wu Yusen, and said, "Thank you Director Wu for giving me this opportunity, and I promise to do my job well. In addition, I have one more thing to ask for Director Wu, please stop calling me Mr. Su, call me Xiao Su is fine, otherwise my work will not be able to be carried out." Seeing that Su Kun knew how to advance and retreat, Wu Yusen nodded secretly, and the smile on his face became a little more sincere. Yu Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in Yu Reading. Mobile users, please read. The movie Fan Qian Han played the banner of the companion piece Half Gold and 8-2, which topped the box office last year. However, both the director and the screenwriter have been replaced by Su Guanwen and Wu Yusen, and there is no big relationship between Fan Qian Han and Half Gold 8-2 without Su Guanwen and Su Guanjia. In Su Kun's opinion, Fan Qian Han is a farce with no connotation, far from being compared with the cleverly designed Half Gold 8-2. Fortunately, although the movie Fan Qian Han itself is average, several characters in the play still make Su Kun full of expectations. One of the most important is Zhao Yazi, the eternal goddess in Su Kun's heart. Zhao Yazi is not only the goddess of Su Kun, but also the idol of hundreds of millions of people. Bai Niangzi is deeply rooted in the hearts of the people, and Feng Cheng is all the rage. Her acting skills, her youth, her beauty, and her ageless legend, she used herself to influence several people. She is known by the public as the most charming woman with Chinese beauty. Her frown and smile are fascinating. She is synonymous with nobility and elegance. She is a myth among Chinese female stars. The question is, as a reborn person, how could Su Kun miss such a strange woman? So, when one of Zhaoya entered the crew, Su Kun came to Zhaoya with the script and said, "Hello, Sister Ji, I'm Assistant Director Su Kun. This is the scene you're going to shoot today. You should familiarize yourself with it first, then I'll take you to put on makeup and walk around." After speaking, Su Kun handed over the catalogue he had prepared to Zhao Yazi. At this time, Zhao Yazi is just a newcomer who has just debuted for more than 2 years and has played a few insignificant roles. In last year's movie Half Gold 8-2, although she euphemistically called the heroine, but that was just as a vase character with few lines. Although she is also the heroine in Fan Qian Han, this movie is mainly about Su Guanying and Wu Yaoan, and she still doesn't have many roles. In other words, in this movie, Zhao Yazi is still a vase. Zhao Yazi is very self-aware knowing that he is not a popular star yet. So, after hearing Su Kun calling her sister Ji, and seeing that Su Kun seemed to be older than her, with makeup, she immediately said, "Director Su, hello. You can just call me Azi, and I will invite you in the future. Take care." Su Kun, who has lived in 2 generations, is already in his 50s, so naturally he will not be shy and insist that Zhao Yazi be called Sister Ji. Therefore, seeing the sincerity of Zhao Yazi's words, he followed Zhao Yazi's name and said with a smile, "Then I'll be welcome. Azi, first check if there are any problems in these scenes. If there are problems, I'll give you a little more time to get acquainted. If it's alright, let's go make up now and go through the scene." Before coming to the crew, Zhao Yazi had done enough homework. So, after taking a look at the scene to be filmed today, she marked her script, then closed the script, and said, "Director Su, there's nothing wrong with me, let's go make up now." As soon as he got to the dressing room, Su Kun ran into another trouble. The makeup artist couldn't come. "Director Su, Sister Fang can't come today, her child is ill." Xiao Lan Nane, assistant to the makeup artist, said. The assistant director is euphemistically called the director's assistant, but in fact it is the most thankless position for the entire crew. The assistant director belongs to the lowest level of the production department, with a low status and a large workload, and has to communicate with the props, costumes, and drama departments and other departments contact, but also to find location, control the scene. All filming is the responsibility of the assistant director, ranging from coordinating the time with the actors to the use of a tissue. The assistant director must arrange it in advance, and if there is a slight error, it will be the object of scolding. Just like now, when the makeup artist can't come, Su Kun, the assistant director, has to find a way to deal with it. If it is not handled well, Su Kun is likely to be fired by Wu Yusan today. Habitually pressed his temples, Su Kun asked Xiao Lan, how long have you and Sister Fang learned makeup? 2 weeks. Xiaolan said in a voice not much louder than a mosquito. Hearing this, Su Kun sighed, then turned his head to Zhao Yazi, and said, "Azi, sit down, I'll design your style." Then, Su Kun said to Xiaolan, "Go and put on Sister Fang's makeup. Bring the box." Both Zhao Yazi and Xiaolan looked surprised when they heard Su Kun's words. They all wondered if Su Kun would wear makeup. Zhao Yazi and Xiaolan's suspicions are superfluous. In the last life, Su Kun had a close friend who was a makeup artist. When there was no filming, Su Kun often went to help her. Over time, Su Kun practiced a good makeup technique. It is no exaggeration to say that even if she is ugly, Su Kun can turn her into a beautiful woman through makeup, not to mention Zhao Yazi, who is naturally beautiful. More than half an hour later, Zhao Yazi looked at himself in the mirror with disbelief, and murmured, "Am I really that beautiful?" Xiaolan couldn't believe Zhao Yazi's change. She saw with her own eyes that Su Kun simply cut Zhao Yazi's hair, and then used makeup to sketch a few pictures on Zhao Yazi's face, and then she was full of youthful breath. Zhao Yazi has become a gentle and elegant beauty. Su Kun gently supported Zhao Yazi's face, looked up and down, left and right, reading www.youcanshu.com, then said, "The time is a little tight, so let's do this first. Xiaolan, you go and get Aziz clothes. Oh, don't forget to bring leggings, today there is a scene where Angkor steps on Aziz's skirt." Su Kun's unscrupulous words made Zhao Yazi's face turn a little red, and he secretly spat at Su Kun, "Rogue." At this moment, Su Guanying and Wu Yaoan walked into the dressing room one after the other. After seeing Zhao Yazi, they were stunned at the same time, and Wu Yaoan said directly, "Azi, you are more beautiful than last year." In Half Gold and 8 Twos, Su Guanying and Wu Yaoan have both worked with Zhao Yazi, so the three of them are still familiar with each other. In the eyes of Su Guanying and Wu Yaoan, the beauty of Zhao Ya at that time was beautiful, but there was still a hint of greenness. When they saw Zhao Yazi again this time, they all found that Zhao Yazi was more beautiful than before. Zhao Yazi was a little embarrassed when she was praised by acquaintances. She glanced at Su Kun out of the corner of her eye, and then explained, "It's all thanks to Director Su's makeup skills. You can make Director Su paint and makeup, and you can also become pretty boy." Su Guanying and Wu Yaoan listened and looked at Su Kun at the same time. Su Kun showed them a modest smile. "Wu Yaoan and Su Guanying's makeup is not troublesome, just put on the clothes that Sister Fang has prepared for a long time and simply draw a few strokes. The trouble is, Su Guanying has a scene today where his face is blown up while smoking a cigar, and Wu Yaoan has a scene where his head hits the door and knocks out a big bag, and the big bag becomes smaller. Just do it." Therefore, Su Kun is destined to be a part-time makeup artist today. UU Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in UU Reading. Mobile users, please read. "Brother Chen, was Mr. Su out of tune just now?" In the recording studio, Su Kun whispered to Chen Sunkai. "Your ears are good. Kun, why don't you come and learn film music from me?" Chen Sunkai gave Su Guanja a pause gesture and said. Su Kun is not a talkative person, but at this moment he must attract the attention of Chen Sunkai. Chen Sunkai is an outstanding film and television director, producer, actor, and action film actor, and musician. Wang Jiayi once worked as a screenwriter under Chen Sunkai for 6 years. Chen Sunkai also composed music for Wang Jiayi's Chongqing Forest, Fallen Angel, Evil in the West, and was the music director of Unparalleled in the World. Not only that, Chen Sunkai is also the executive director, action director, and speeding director of films such as Flying Eagle Project, Drunken Fist 2, Human Torch, Glass Bottle, Rush Hour, King of Ransom and so on. Chen Sunkai can be regarded as a rare all-rounder in movies. If he can do avatars, maybe he can make movies by himself. Therefore, Su Kun will show his uniqueness in front of Chen Sunkai, and make some preparations for recruiting Chen Sunkai in the future. If you want to make friends with Chen Sunkai, you have to be on the same level as Chen Sunkai's shoulders, so it is impossible for Su Kun to learn film soundtrack from Chen Sunkai. Besides, Su Kun, who has been the lead singer of a band for several years and is familiar with most popular music and classic movie soundtracks, does not need to learn movie soundtracks from Chen Sunkai. It is no exaggeration to say that, let alone Chen Sunkai, even Huang Ershen, Hu Walai, Dai Yuemin, Yuan Zhuofen are not qualified to be the music teacher of the reborn Su Kun. In order to make it easier for me to make friends with useful talents, and to make it easier for me to develop in the future the next day, Su Kun asked Li to go to the Oriental Daily for him to find Su Jixin, and asked Su Jixin to come to the studio to study the release of his new novel. Now, Journey of Misty has become indescribably popular. The recent sales of Oriental Daily has risen from more than 100,000 copies to 130,000 copies, and it is still rising steadily. According to Su Jixin's speculation, Oriental Daily is likely to rise to 140,000 copies. In addition, Oriental Daily has restored the previously lowered advertising price. People in the press are rumored that Su Kun is the savior of the Oriental Daily, and the bosses of various newspapers are also inquiring about who Su Kun is, and want to ask Su Kun, a new and popular writer, to make an appointment. Therefore, Su Kungxiang invited to talk about the release of the new novel, and the editor-in-chief Su De immediately came to the Buzendo studio. Su Kun's appointment with Su Jixin was at noon, but before 10 o'clock, Su Jixin arrived on the set. Su Kun, who was busy hitting the back of his head, could only hurriedly greet Su Jixin, and then continued to do his own work. It wasn't until the lunch break that Su Kun walked up to Su Jixin with an apologetic face and said, "I'm sorry for waiting so long, Mr. Su." Su Jixin smiled and said, "I came early." Then, Su Jixin said with a slight compliment, "I didn't expect Mr. Su to know how to film, he is really versatile." "Haha, it's just a personal hobby," Su Kun said with a ha ha ha. Then, Su Kun took out a few pages of manuscript paper sandwiched in the script and handed it to Su Jixin, saying, "This is my new novel Shanghai Beach, please take a look first, and then we will talk about it." Su Jixin was not polite, he took over the manuscript and began to read. After more than 20 minutes, Su Jixin said with an unfinished expression, "It's a good novel again." After a pause, Su Jixin continued, "Mr. Su, should we still pay your original price for this Shanghai Beach? We'll talk about money later. I have one condition: Shanghai Beach must be serialized as soon as possible." Su Kun raised his hand slightly and said. Su Kun proposed this condition as a last resort. In 1980, Shanghai Beach was broadcast. From this, it is inferred that Mr. Gu Zhaofeng may have started to conceive the novel Shanghai Beach in the last 1 or 2 years. Therefore, if Su Kun wants to take advantage of the novel Shanghai Bund, he must first let Shanghai Bund be named Su before Mr. Gu Zhaofeng can write the pen. To be honest, Su Kun's conditions really stumped Su Jixin. Now, after killing Su Jixin would not dare to replace Journey of Misty with Shanghai Bund. As a result, if Oriental Daily wanted to serialize Shanghai Tang, it would have to set aside another page. However, if you really do this, Mischievous Journey and Shanghai Bund will be repeated again, and the Shanghai Bund that Oriental Daily bought at a high price and dedicated to set aside a page will also be the icing on the cake. Effect. From an investment point of view, Oriental Daily obviously suffered a big loss by doing this. What if you reject Su Kun? That's more troublesome. To put it mildly, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Oriental Daily is not listed on Shanghai Bund. Su Kun will definitely find other newspapers to cooperate. With Su Kun's reputation in Hong Kong today, it is certainly not difficult to find new partners. In that case, the Oriental Daily is likely to have another strong enemy. Speaking of which, if the Oriental Daily offended Su Kun this time, Su Kun would probably no longer cooperate with the Oriental Daily after the obvious journey. In that case, Oriental Daily is likely to be beaten back to its prototype and face the danger of bankruptcy again. After thinking about the profit and loss, Su Jixin showed a wry smile and said, "Mr. Su, you really gave us a big problem for Oriental Daily. I also know that by doing this, the Oriental Daily may suffer a certain loss, but I also have a last resort for such a request. Well, Shanghai Beach is also 1,000 words and 300. In addition, I will give the Oriental Daily a promise: after these 2 books are finished, I will write another novel and publish it in the Oriental Daily without raising the price." Su Kun said apologetically. In this matter, Su Jixin couldn't decide, so he took Shanghai Beach and went back to ask Ma Chinkin for instructions. As the editor-in-chief of Oriental Daily, one of the 3 major newspapers in Hong Kong, Su Jixin is definitely a character in Hong Kong. Of course, many people on the set know him, so it is natural that Su Kun is the author of Mischievous Journey. Curious people dug it out, and most of the people in the crew knew the footsteps of Su Kun, the great god, and Su Kun's goal of becoming famous in the crew was naturally achieved. UU Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in UU Reading. Mobile users, please read. The most recent period is Zhao Yazi's busiest period, and it is also a crucial period of her acting career while filming Fan Qian Han. Zhao Yazi also played Wei Ting in the TVB TV series The Great Revenge Corner. The Great Revenge is a period drama adapted from the world-famous novel The Count of Monte Cristo. It is not easy for Zhao Yazi to get an important role. Therefore, at first Zhao Yazi focused his energy on The Great Revenge. In this way, Wu Yusen, the director of Fan Qian Han, was furious. Wu Yusen even revealed that he wanted to replace Zhao Yazi in an interview with reporters. After Zhao Yazi heard the news, she was very distressed. She also didn't want to lose the chance to play Mary, the heroine of Fan Qian Han. Therefore, Zhao Yazi could only rush back and forth, exhausting herself from tossing herself. Seeing this, Su Kun, who was always paying attention to Zhao Yazi, took the initiative to find Zhao Yazi and said, "Yazi, you can't go on like this, not to mention that you will not be able to play Mary and Wei Ting well in this state. Your body can't stand it either, don't forget, you just gave birth at the beginning of the year." Zhao Yazi showed a bit of bitterness and said, "I don't want to do this either, but I can't help it, the 2 roles of Mary and Wei Ting are too important to me, once I lose one, I may have to work hard for several years." Zhao Yazi has another difficulty. She didn't mention her husband's family is very opposed to her showing up. If she can't get good grades, she will have to go home to look after her husband and teach her children. Zhao Yazi, who is only 23 years old, doesn't want to be shackled by her family prematurely. Su Kun was silent for a while before he said, "Well, tell me your schedule in the Great Revenge crew, and I'll help you adjust the time and give you as much rest time as possible." Su Kun's words made Zhao Yazi overjoyed. If that's the case, then she can really relax a lot. However, in the next instant, Zhao Yazi showed a hint of embarrassment, and said, "A Kun, the filming plan for the next day is usually not notified until the night before. It's all right, as long as we communicate in time, it's not a big problem. It really doesn't work, let's meet every night." Su Kun said with a smile. Since then, Zhao Yazi has relaxed a lot, and there are few collisions on both sides. Zhao Yazi knew that this was the result of Su Kun's help, so her relationship with Su Kun was getting better and better. The filming of Fok Yunhan was very fast, and in less than a month, most of it was completed. Today, the crew came to a special actor that Su Kun has always liked, Lin Zhengying. When it comes to Lin Zhengying, few people don't know. There are countless actors in Xiangzhong, but there are very few good actors. From this perspective, Lin Zhengying can only be regarded as a relatively ordinary actor. He has neither acted in 2 decent films, nor has what a compliment for his acting skills. However, Lin Zhengying is insisting that his role as a Taoist priest is a classic. So far no one can surpass it. Once Lin Zhengying is included in the zombie film, it means more than half of the success. In terms of zombie films alone, Lin Zhengying is comparable to Zhou Xingqi in nonsensical comedies, and no one can replace him. However, this is Lin Zhengying in the future. Today's Lin Zhengying is at the most down-to-earth moment. He used to be Bruce Lee's right-hand man, and he can only come to the crew of Fok Yunhan to play a role that only shows a few faces and does not have a single line of dialogue. Compared to the current Lin Zhengying, Su Kun is much better off. Therefore, under Su Kun's deliberate friendship, Lin Zhengying quickly became acquainted with Su Kun. The actors are in place. The dragon set is in place. Lights ready. Camera ready. Motorcycles and cars ready. The fifth scene of the 22nd scene of Fan Qian Han, Act. Su Kun took the slate, and Lin Zhengying and the other two killers took out their guns and pointed at Wu Yaoan. Until Wu Yaoan got on the motorcycle, Lin Zhengying and the other two killers got on the car. Wu Yusan shouted, "Crack! This one is over. Come here first in the morning." When the actors heard the words, they packed up their belongings and left. Su Kun walked over to Lin Zhengying with 2 boxes of lunch, handed a box to Lin Zhengying, and the two found a shady place to sit down. "Brother Lin, what are your plans in the future?" Su Kun asked Lin Zhengying as he opened the lunch box. "Brother San Mao wants to set up the Hong family class, I want to go to him," Lin Zhengying said. Mr. Hong was born in the Yuan family class. If he forms the Hong family class, will his junior and junior brothers also go to him? Su Kun knew his advisor. Well, brother San Mao is righteous. Not only his senior brothers will follow him, but even all the senior brothers in our Fanjia class will follow him. Lin Zhengying replied. "Brother Lin, let me tell you something simple and honest. With so many people, when will you be able to make it through? Let's say something cruel. During Mr. Bruce Lee's time, you were a martial artist, but after Mr. Bruce Lee passed away, you could only to play these dragon roles. If you go to the Hong family class, you will have to work as a dragon and tiger martial artist for at least a few more years before you can succeed, and you may not be able to succeed," Su Kun said slowly. When Su Kun was talking, Lin Zhengying didn't say a word, just kept eating. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Seeing this, Su Kun took out a piece of Oriental Daily from the script and placed it at Lin Zhengying's feet, and said, "I wrote the novel Shanghai Beach in this newspaper, and director Zhao Zhenqiang from TVB found me. I intend to arrange Shanghai Beach into a TV series, and I also want to invite me to be a screenwriter. Brother Lin, I would like to recommend you to be a martial artist. In addition, I want to make 2 movies next year, one of which will let you be your assistant director, another one lets you be the male lead." As soon as Su Kun's words came out, Lin Zhengying suddenly raised his head to look at Su Kun, and repeated, "Am I the protagonist? Well, it has to be the second movie next year. You can only be an assistant director for the first movie," Su Kun said. Lin Zhengying entered the film industry as a dragon and tiger martial artist at the age of 17. At the age of 19, he began to be a martial artist. His first movie as a martial artist was Bruce Lee's Tangshan Big Brother, and Bruce Lee personally invited him to be a martial arts finger. He also played a role in Big Brother Tangshan. In addition to Raptor crossing the river in the film starring Bruce Lee, all of them have him as a martial artist. He and Chen Hui are Bruce Lee's right and left hands. When Bruce Lee was filming martial arts, without them, he would rather not turn on the phone. The question is, how could Lin Zhengying, who had such an experience, be willing to start over from martial arts? However, after all, Lin Zhengying and Hong Jinbei have been friends for many years, and Hong Jinbei has taken care of him quite a bit in the past 2 years. Now that Hong Jinbei wants to set up the Hong family class, how can he who has always been loyal to help him? After being silent for a long time, Lin Zhengying, who was undecided, took a few bites of the leftovers in the lunch box, and then picked up the Oriental Daily at his feet and said to Su Kun, "Mr. Su, let me think about it, I will give you an answer tomorrow." Yu Reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in Yu Reading. Mobile users, please read. In Lin Zhengying's hut, which was less than 400 feet tall, Lin Zheng's 2 junior brothers, Dong Wei and Zhong Fa, sat opposite Lin Zhengying. "I know this Mr. Su, his Journey to Misty, I follow it every day, and it's wonderfully written," said Zhong Fa, who had a fierce face. "I know him too. I heard that his novels are now the most expensive in Xiangjiang, except for Ni Han. It seems to be 300,000 words. Dong Wei, who looked very energetic, said. What is the concept of 300,000 words? Zhong Fa turned his head and asked Dong Wei. Dong Wei picked up the Oriental Daily on the table to find the pages of The Journey of Misty and Shanghai Bund, and said, the Oriental Daily serializes 2 chapters of The Journey of Misty and 2 chapters of Shanghai Bund every day. 1 chapter is about 3,000 words, and 4 chapters is 12,000 words. According to this number, he can earn about 3,600 a day. 3,006 a day, isn't it more than 100,000 a month? No wonder he dares to make a movie. Zhong Fa said with wide eyes. Nowadays, the average movie cost is only 40,000 to 500,000 yuan. 1 year of writing a novel is enough for him to make 2 movies. Brother, I think everything Mr. Su told you should be true. Dong Wei looked at it. Lin Zhengying said. Mr. Su is very stable, and he is very familiar with filmmaking. I'm not worried that he will lie to me. Lin Zhengying hesitated. Senior brother, are you worried about brother San Mao? Dong Wei asked Lin Zhengying. Lin Zhengying nodded lightly. Dong Wei was silent for a while, and said, Brother San Mao is a good person, but there are too many people there. Yuan Lu, Yuan Biao, Yuan Kui and Yuan Hua are all capable, and Chen Hui's ability is no better than that of senior brother. You are poor, Wuma has been famous for many years, and the most important thing is that San Mao has just started, so he can't bring so many people. To be honest, I didn't plan to go with San Mao at all. If you are with Mr. Su, senior brother, I'll go with you. If you join the Hong family class, senior brother, I'll go to the wireless to see after that year. Lin Zhengying still didn't speak, he really couldn't make up his mind. Zhong Fa wanted to speak, but he didn't know what to say. For a while he and Lin Zhengying had the same concerns. Seeing this, Dong Wei persuaded again, now, Mr. Su should be at the stage of starting from scratch. Brother, if you go with him, you will definitely be reused. Maybe the movie you star in next year will make you as popular as Xiao Long. At that time, wouldn't it be better for you to pull brother San Mao again? Dong Wei persuaded Lin Zhengying to be selfish. He thought to himself, I am so beautiful and good at Kung Fu. If I work with Mr. Su, who is rich and has no one to help, I may develop better than the average-looking senior brother. Dong Wei's words made Lin Zhengying move slightly, but Lin Zhengying still didn't express her position. Dong Wei knew very well about Lin Zhengying, an upright and loyal senior brother. He struck while the iron was hot and then continued, I think it's better to do this, senior brother, you go directly to brother San Mao and see what his attitude is. If he keeps you, you go to the Hong family class. If he asks you to go with Mr. Su, then you go with Mr. Su. Dong Wei not only knows Lin Zhengying, but also Hong Jinbei, who is also loyal. He knows that as long as Lin Zhengying asks Hong Jinbei will definitely let Lin Zhengying leave. Facts have proved that Dong Wei's eyesight is indeed accurate. In the end, Lin Zhengying, who had always been hesitant, still listened to Dong Wei's suggestion and took Zhong Fa to see Hong Jinbei. After Lin Zhengying hesitantly explained the cause and effect, Hong Jinbei encouraged Lin Zhengying, eyeing, you should go. What we lack most in making movies is the opportunity. This opportunity is too rare for you. If you miss this time, you don't know how long you have to wait for the next time. Take 10,000 steps back and say, even if you don't get along well with Mr. Su, you can come back, and then we brothers can work hard together. At noon the next day, Lin Zhengying brought Dong Wei and Zhong Fa to the crew of Fa Qian Han to find Su Kun, who was on a lunch break. As soon as the four met, Lin Zhengying introduced them for both parties, Mr. Su, these are my 2 junior brothers, Dong Wei and Zhong Fa. Ah Wei, Ah Fa, this is Mr. Su. Dong Wei is very clever. As soon as Lin Zhengying finished his introduction, he bent down slightly and said, hello, Mr. Su. Zhong Fa's reaction was a little slower. Seeing Dong Wei saying hello, he followed Dong Wei's example and said, "Hello, Mr. Su." Su Kun knew about Dong Wei and Zhong Fa. Dong Wei is one of the top martial arts practitioners. His scene handling and action design are extremely clean and neat. Movies such as The True Color of Heroes, Painted Skin and Seven Swords are all his martial arts fingers. Zhong Fa has acted in many movies, but most of them are ghost movies and villains in the second and third triangles. He has a very good relationship with Lin Zhengying. For these two people, Su Kun, who is now poor and white, is naturally very willing to make friends. So, as soon as Lin Zhengying finished the introduction, Su Kun shook hands with Dong Wei and Zhong Fa respectively, and said with a smile, "Hello, hello." Then, Su Kun turned his head to Lin Zhengying and asked, "Brother Lin, how are you thinking?" "That, Mr. Su, I still have two things I want to discuss with you," Lin Zhengying said hesitantly. Su Kun never thought that he would be able to accept his younger brother everywhere when he was arrogant. Therefore, he is not disgusted with Lin Zhengying's conditions. "You said, Brother Linear," Su Kun said with a smile. "If Brother San Mao asks me for help with something, please ask Mr. Su to make it easier." "Of course, I will not delay your business, Mr. Su," Lin Zhengying said. "Don't forget your roots, okay? Just focus on this point, I'm looking for you, and I'm not looking for the wrong person." "Okay, I agree to this," Su Kun said. Seeing Su Kun being so easy to talk about, Lin Zhengying's affection for Su Kun increased a bit more, and he continued, "I brought these two junior brothers into the business, Mr. Su, can you also give them a bowl of rice to eat?" "Welcome. To be honest, what I lack most right now is manpower. It's a good thing for me that Wei and Fa can come and help me," Su Kun said with a smile. Then, Su Kun turned his head to Dong Wei and said, "Wei, you have a good image. You should play the second male lead in the first movie to be released next year." When Dong Wei heard this, he was overjoyed and said quickly, "Thank you, Mr. Su." Su Kun Kong waved his hand gently to Dong Wei and said, "Thank you, I will be my own from now on." Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Then, Su Kun turned his head to Zhong Fa and said, "Fa, your image is a little too vicious, the first movie is a school comedy, it's not suitable for you, I'll see what's there when the second movie is released. The role is right for you." Zhong Fa was a little disappointed when he heard the words, but he respectfully bowed to Su Kun and said, "Thank you, Mr. Su." "Fa, don't be impatient, filmmaking is also about chance. You are the first to follow me, and I will definitely create a chance for you to become famous," Su Kun said to Zhong Fa. Su Kun also said this to Lin Zhengying and Dong Wei. Zhong Fa is also a sincere person. Hearing Su Kun's words, he couldn't help blushing. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know how to say it. Su Kun Kong waved his hand gently to Zhongfa, indicating that he doesn't need to say anything, he understands it all. Then, Su Kun turned his head and asked Lin Zhengying, "Brother Lin, can you come and help me this time?" Su Kun agreed to the two conditions that Lin Zhengying mentioned without hesitation. He also made Dong Wei the second male lead, and promised to create a chance for the three of them to become famous. Apart from agreeing, what else could he say? Therefore, Lin Zhengying said with a hint of respect, "Mr. Su, you can just call me A Ying in the future." The change of title means the change of identity. Of course Su Kun would not raise any objection on this matter. He took advantage of the situation and said, "Ying, in the future, don't call me Mr. Su anymore, just call me Brother Kun." Then, Su Kun took out 2 stacks of money and handed it to Lin Zhengying, and then said, "Ying, you take 10,000 yuan, and the 10,000 yuan will be given to Wei and Fa. By the way, you will meet Zhao Zhenqiang with me tomorrow night." Yu reading welcomes all book lovers to come and read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in UU Reading. Mobile users, please read.